Welcome to Black Tie Optional. I'm Sydney.
I'm Colleen.
Let's get into it.
All right, we are so excited to be back on the podcast, and we have a very special mother and daughter, Ashlee and Teresa, with us today. We are going to talk all about being a bride, being a mother of the bride, and just all the questions of when you're going into wedding planning. How is it?
Okay, so we know that you guys have like literally the best planner ever. And so
Shout out Jessica.
Yeah,
Jessica, she's the best.
Shout out to Jessica. The best. But not everyone has like the best planner, right? Did you ever think, oh, I can plan this by myself?
Literally no.
No.
Because
No.
Mom's life is chaos, mine is chaos. No, because working full time, school, still in school, no. I was like, I immediately need a planner.
So did you know from the very beginning, like, Jessica's going to be my planner?
No, actually,
Okay.
I had never even heard of Jessica. That sounds terrible. But I was talking to Mom about this. I posted like a Facebook status, and I was like, please help me. Like, I need a wedding planner. Like, who do y'all recommend? And Jessica was tagged, like, I think multiple times. She was not the first person I messaged. I messaged, I think, one or two. A couple. And I talked to one, did not vibe with her. And then I think Jessica finally messaged me back, and we had a phone call, and I was like, this is my girl.
Right.
So, like, I was like, I don't even care. Like, Mom, like, we're hiring her. So, immediate hire.
So how did you find your venue? Like, did you know where you wanted to get married? Did you shop around?
Well, okay, so
we're at the beach.
So we got
we're at
engaged.
the beach.
So we got engaged like what, July, was it 2021? I don't even remember. Yeah, it was 2021. And then so we got engaged like
on vacation.
Day one, and then day two I had Legacy booked. I was not playing around. Well, because I feel like COVID backed everything up.
Yeah, it did, for sure.
But I thought I wanted to get married. I looked at Legacy. I don't know why. I just always thought Legacy was like where I wanted to get married.
It's very pretty.
I didn't want to get married in Heber because there's just barns everywhere. I was like, I'm not a barn girl.
Right.
I was a horse girl one time, not now. Thank you. Sorry. R.I.P. So I was like, Legacy's beautiful. I looked at Grand Dior House. I did talk to them, but
I don't think they ever got back.
No, they did, and there was like only 2 dates left, and
Yeah.
that wasn't really a vibe for me. And Legacy was like, okay, we've got this date or this date, and I was like, okay, well, it's May or October, and
We're working around.
Yeah.
we were working around a lot.
Austin's audit schedule.
Austin's schedule, and he was like, I mean, I don't love October. Like, we didn't have the Arkansas game schedule yet, OMG. But I was like, it's gonna have to be, like, it has to be October 8th. Like, we are pulling the trigger.
Yeah.
Signed the contract in the middle of the beach, like, paid the fee, and I was like, this is it, we're done.
We're done.
So it was booked, told Jessica, like, and, like, booked. So we were good.
There you go.
So
Before we got home,
we got home,
those two things.
the venue was booked. So
2 things done. We had the venue booked before we had her booked, and she was excited.
Yeah.
She was like, "Wait, what? You've already done this?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
The venue was booked.
Did the photographer book too?
I did.
We
book
did. We had our photographer
too, also
booked
because
already.
I was
We
not
did
playing
that.
around. So actually, before I hired Jessica, I had a couple things booked because I was just paranoid.
Right.
Because I was like, these people.
So what month did you get engaged versus what month did you get married?
July of 2021, and we got married October 2022.
Okay.
So we waited a little bit, but
still,
it's because limited dates and all that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I needed a little bit to plan because I knew it was probably going to be a big wedding, but it was fine. It all worked out, but I wasn't rushing.
We needed that whole time.
Yeah.
Right.
Austin would have said differently. He would have done it in like 6 months, I feel like, but no. No.
Oh, Austin. We love Austin.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's when you got engaged. Obviously, you, like Sydney said, you had the best of the best planner. Was there anything, though, that surprised you in the planning process? Like anything that you're like, oh, I didn't realize we had to think about this, or...
I don't know, Mom. Nothing really was super shocking to me. I mean, it was a lot of work. I mean, Jessica did tons and tons of work. Like, thank God I hired her because, I mean, I was like psychotic mode. I mean, I wasn't bridezilla, but I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And a lot of people were like, well, you've been planning your wedding for like ever. Like you and Austin have been together for like so long. Like I know you have your wedding planned. And I was like, actually, no, I don't know what I'm doing.
You've
like,
never been through this before.
Like I've never been, I've like, y'all think I have this whole wedding plan? Like, no. Like I was over here like, Like,
did you have a vision? Like, were you able to sit down with Jessica and be like, this is my vision? Or did she help you kind of curate that?
No, she honestly helped me a lot because I at first was like, oh, well, this is trendy. Like, let me do black and white. Like, this is cute. And then she was like, that's not you.
I mean, look at what you're wearing.
Yeah.
That's not you.
And I was like, actually, no, that's ew. Like, that's not me at all.
The best advice she gave, she said, stay off Pinterest.
Yeah, she did tell me to stay off Pinterest. Even though, and I will say that is true because Pinterest is very overwhelming. Like, every Instagram is overwhelming. I did find a lot of inspo on Pinterest, and she did take a lot of my things that I sent to her, and she, like, turned it into my vision. But it was, actually, I was like, oh, well, this is better than what I sent you, which is immaculate. But Pinterest is overwhelming because I was like, yeah, black and white. Like, oh, that's so cute. I was like, what am I talking about? My house is not black and white. Like, it is literally eclectic world in here. Like, I have one room is color bomb, and then I have over here is like blue and white.
I think you have what, like 20 Christmas trees in your house?
I do, yeah. I have a pink tree. I have a normal tree. I have, I want a blue one. Like, no, what am I talking about? Black and white?
Yeah.
Like, that's great. People have beautiful black and white weddings, but no, that's not me. Right. So I'm glad she like slapped me around and was like, what are you doing?
Right, because then you would have gotten to your day and been like, oh,
like, that's basic.
Where's the sparkle?
Right. Yeah, no. And she was like, no, you're glittery. Like, what are we doing? So, I mean, Mom too. She's like, what? No, that's not you.
So branching off that, would you say that it's hard, like, handling all these trends coming at you all the time, like, during wedding planning?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, almost like FOMO. Like, did you feel like I'm going to miss out if I don't do?
I mean, honestly, kind of, yes, like in the back of my mind, because I'm like, oh, well, that's like blue and white. I mean, I don't feel like it was as popular when we got married. It wasn't. Because I was 2022 and now we're in 2024. But I feel like everybody is having a blue and white, like blue and white.
Coastal theme.
Like, yes. Yeah. And like, I love that. Like, I have a ton of that in my house. Like, I collect ginger jars. Like, I have a ton of that stuff. And I mean, I love it, but wouldn't have wanted that at my wedding. Like, that's just not.
Right.
That's not what I would have vibed with, like, wedding-wise. I mean, they're beautiful, but, when I look at it, I'm like, well, should I have done that? But I'm like, no, that's not what I wanted. And
when she started talking about doing the vintage glassware, all the different colored, and I was like, now, and shortly, then it really... Then other people started doing it. Well, it really wasn't trending when we started
but I'm
collecting this vintage glassware that we literally
and you are
collected.
Seeing colored. I mean, I think the color is coming. I feel like when we got married, it wasn't. It was still a lot of black and white, and it was very like cut. Like, let's do
it was a lot of blush and sage.
Yes, and green. And I'm like, can we stop with the green? Yeah. But it's fine. But I'm like, no, like, let's, like, please bring some color into your life. But it's okay. But
which is so funny because you're like speaking Sydney's love language. She loves color, and I'm like,
seriously,
black and white, like, core.
I know, and that's fine. Weddings. And I mean, a lot of people are, but I know, because I mean, I've been to so many weddings and they're great, but
I mean, I'm literally wearing black and white. Like,
look at all.
I'm a little toned down.
You are toned down. Not the earrings though, but and I'm like,
but stay true.
But it's fun to be like to go.
Stay true to yourself.
I mean, do what you want. Stay true to yourself.
Yeah,
but
stay true to your personality.
Yeah, like, just, I don't know. Pinterest is overwhelming, and then you look at magazines and you're like, oh, I want to copycat that, but like, what do you want to do for you? Like, don't look at somebody else's wedding and be like, well, I want that exact wedding, but is that you? Just because, like, they got in Arkansas Bride, or like they got in whatever, like, who cares?
Well, it's like Western is such a theme right now.
Yes.
Like, you see all these celebrities doing
like Western welcome parties,
and stuff, and I'm like,
trendy.
You live in LA. What is even happening?
Cowgirl is coming back. Yes. It's trending. It'll die next year.
It will. It's crazy though.
Yeah, and I'm like, is that really what you want? Just because I don't know, like Beyonce did or something. Like,
Right.
Right.
No.
That's probably why, honestly. Beyonce has her
Honestly.
country album.
yes, her country album.
yeah.
That's why. Honestly,
Now Post Malone. It's like,
Yes.
who's next?
I know.
Yeah.
Who's next?
My who knows.
So, Teresa, was it hard, or not hard, but was there any point where Ashley's like planning this wedding, you're like, oh, I don't think that's going to look good? Like, you didn't say anything, but then like it comes to the day of and you're like, this was beautiful. I'm so thankful you did that.
So at one point during the process, someone mentioned hanging some lanterns up, and it got real crazy up at the top around the windows above the florals that were on each side of the bride and groom, and oh, they're going to be colorful, and they're going to be this, and they're going to be that, and I was like, no, this is a terrible idea.
In the chapel.
I did
Yeah.
not think this is a good idea, and that we're going way off in left field, and I don't think this is a great idea. And I could kind of tell that Jessica was I could see her wheels turning,
Mm-hmm.
and I could see her trying to make
Reel it
it
back
work,
in.
but
Yes,
then
reel
she
it
was
back.
like, I'm not so sure that this is a good idea.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it didn't. They couldn't find what they wanted. It didn't.
There
work
was no
out.
hanging lanterns.
There was no
but-
hanging lanterns at the end of the day, and I'm really glad.
I was kind of curious about him, I will say, but
It was just
Yeah.
part of the decor that I was like,
you know,
this doesn't work.
So you mentioned about collecting, like, did y'all collect all of that glassware? Y'all didn't rent that?
we rented some.
Okay.
Like a lot of the blue and the pink. It was like what 100 of each,
Yeah,
kind of. I think.
we had 100.
What was your guest count?
Oh gosh, like over three, like maybe
300.
like three. I don't know if we. I think it was like 315.
I feel like it was like a Heber Springs reunion. I feel like
kind
it,
of.
Oh, yeah.
So
Like
we had
everybody.
170 something
Yeah.
pieces of
Like
vintage
ours.
glassware that we collected ourselves. And then
Wow.
We still have a
washed
lot.
and dried, and,
And
so we
labeled.
counted that, and we had to have an
We drew
exact
on the
count.
bottom so they would know like what was ours, what was theirs,
And then
Right.
so we rented the rest that picked two and
Yeah.
mixed in with. And that was kind of,
it was a little chaos at the
it was
end.
fun, but at the end it was a little chaos.
Yeah, some got broken.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Not ours. I think some of
Mostly
the rentals.
The rentals. And then they called us and they were like, we have glassware that belongs to you.
Yeah, it got swapped a little, but it's
And-
okay. We got it back.
yeah.
Yeah, and we kept telling them we had somebody to help with that, but when the person went to the back to help sort that out, they were like, "No, we have this." And
Yeah.
she was like, "Well, really, I've been assigned to make sure this goes right," and they were like, "No, we got this," and she's
Yeah.
like, "Okay," and
Yeah.
really, they didn't have this.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Looking back, is there any like aspect of your wedding that you're thankful you splurged on, or looking back you're like, I really shouldn't have spent the money on this and I should have put it towards XYZ?
I mean, we splurged on florals. We might should have. I don't know.
we definitely went over budget on florals.
We did.
And we had splurged on florals to begin with.
Yeah.
And then we went over
We
budget
did.
on florals.
Like we allotted for florals because we were like, this is going to cost a lot because I mean we did.
And I'll
use,
be honest, we could have reined it in.
Yeah.
We could have a little bit.
Ashley had a friend who got married recently. She literally spent $375
cheap, yeah.
on
But it was all
florals
wholesale.
Mm-hmm.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't even get a bouquet for that.
It was
Yeah.
right, and a friend got her the flowers wholesale. And
Yeah.
It was just.
And we're
it
like,
was
oh.
you know,
Yeah.
you don't have to. Right.
You know, I mean, what she didn't have, it was very simple. So,
Right,
Yes, but
right.
it
I
was
mean,
still very.
like bouquets,
But still very
and-
pretty.
The flowers were all white.
And
Yeah.
then the
but it was
reception.
still very.
Still, yeah.
It just goes to show you can.
Yeah.
You can work.
So we might gonna reel it back in a little,
We
Yeah.
could
but
definitely.
I don't know.
Would you have put that money towards anything else? Like, is there anything that you're like, I wish I would have spent more money?
I would have done the vinyl down the aisle, like because we had it on the dance floor, and I said no because Jessica was like, "We need to do the vinyl down the aisle. Like, I think this would look great." I wish I would have because I think it would have made because it's. I mean, it's white. Legacy is white. I wish.
is.
I mean, it would have made
is.
the
It would've made
chapel
it pop.
Yeah.
And I wish, looking back, I think it would have looked fabulous because it was just so. I mean, the dance floor was wild looking.
It was beautiful.
But I was like, oh, when she gave me dance floor options, like I was like, that's the one I want. And I wish I would have put it down the aisle. That's what I would have we could have reeled back in on flowers and maybe just.
Because that would have been a statement.
Because it
by
would have been a
itself.
statement and maybe just pulled back a little. I don't know. But
I'm glad we're talking about that too, because I feel like a lot of people don't realize that you can put vinyl down your aisle.
Yeah.
You can put vinyl anywhere.
Yes.
You
a
put it
lot
on
of
the
people-
walls. I
Yes,
don't know.
literally people, I mean, because it pulls right up.
It does.
People don't realize.
Yeah. I mean, it's not bad, honestly. Like, when we got the
No.
quote for it, I was like,
we
that's
could have
it.
We
Right.
could have done it.
Yeah, we could have
I
done.
don't
It
know
wasn't
why
bad.
we
I
didn't
don't
do
know.
it.
We were just like, meh
Yeah.
at the
Right.
time.
You're probably so overwhelmed with everything else. You're
I
like,
think we were.
Yeah, at that point, we're just like, we're done.
Like,
Yeah.
we
We're
paid
done.
the florals and we were like, meh, okay, we should be done now.
Yeah.
So,
I think
you know.
One thing we talk about, what was there anything that kind of shocked me? I think when we started looking at catering, the difference in
golly.
the difference in prices.
Oh, we almost
yeah.
had a stroke. Coco's wonderful, wonderful people. Can't find
recommend her enough.
Shannon is great. I have sent so many people to her because you can't find her when you Google her, really. But we got price quotes from so many people
That were
almost
just
had a stroke when we talked to them.
astronomical. That I was like,
Chicken tenders for what, like how much? We
It
were
was
like, we
just
cannot
crazy.
pay that.
it was crazy.
yeah.
I mean,
Well, especially because sometimes like it's that much per head, but
Yes.
yet the quality of the food is like
Right.
mediocre.
not there.
Right.
Yeah, and Shannon, I mean, there was no food left, and we even upped the food, and thank God we did because it was all gone, and we were like,
Yeah,
and
we,
wow.
we did not have any food wasted. There was
there was a couple.
there was
There was
some
maybe a
containers-
pan or
a
two
cou-
left.
Yeah,
Of
Yeah.
I think that
a couple things,
yeah,
but
her brother-in-law and about to be sister-in-law.
They took it.
They took the food home and they said, and we ate on it for several days.
Yeah.
It was we had chicken tenders and macaroni
Yeah.
for several days, but that
so
was
we could
it.
up
That
the food budget more, maybe too.
Yeah.
But I mean,
So speaking of that, I think you had a tip of like really rein in your guest list, right?
yes, rein in your guest list. Just don't invite whoever, like Mom said, your second grade teacher that you haven't seen in 20 something years. Like, they don't need to come to your wedding unless you're just close with them and they babysit your kids or something. I don't
Right.
know.
Right.
They don't need to come to your wedding.
Because you're paying per head.
Yeah,
so
you're
like
paying per head.
At the end of the day, that number of people divided by your total
Yeah.
cost is what this is.
Literally.
It's
Yeah.
about current relationships.
Current people in your life.
And we really had to focus on that.
Yeah, we
You know,
did.
family and current relationships.
Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, it's the people that support you.
Yes.
So I
your
mean,
people.
reel it in. Don't like willy nilly. Not everybody in your hometown has to come. Not everybody that you see on the street has to come. They're gonna want to come to your wedding. I mean, they might show up. I don't know. It's kind of creepy, but
okay, so we kind of hear about that like from either the groom is like having a casual conversation with someone. It's like, oh, come to my wedding. Did Austin ever do that, or was you or anyone? No. Yeah.
No, I don't feel like it. I feel like I cracked the whip and like was in charge of the guest list mainly.
But that's good because
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you how many weddings I've done where they're like, oh yeah, my mother-in-law just literally would go and invite people and like not even ask or
No, 'cause I
husband
mean,
or whatever, you know.
Because I really feel like our situation is different. Because I mean, we grew up together. We went to college
Right.
together.
You have a
like,
lot of
we-
mutuals.
Like we were
We have
so
many mutual.
Yeah.
that we
right,
really didn't
right.
have an issue. I mean,
Yeah,
it was
that-
like
yeah.
part of the guest list like was, you know, like
small town,
Yeah.
just
town,
like there are people that we may not know.
group of church together.
But-
it's
Right.
all-
So
yeah.
it was really like we didn't have to cut a lot off. Like it was like a couple people that we were like, eh,
Oh, you didn't. You had 300 people. You didn't have to cut a lot off.
no, and they came, but
They
it,
came.
so
And
they
they
were there.
They did. It was a packed house.
But it was
was.
packed.
It
Yeah.
was fun. Okay, so I think you, Teresa, had a tip for that we had talked about before we started recording.
Yes. So you're busy. It's crazy. And someone told me that when their daughter got married, they said, it's just going to be a blur, Teresa. You're not, and
It
they
was
were
a
right.
blur.
It is a blur.
It was a blur for
but,
me.
But the one thing is, at some point, I was like, I don't even know what time it is, but I probably need to get something to eat. It had been a long day. There wasn't really a lot of food left, and my tip would be, and of course, Ashlee and Austin were taken, once the ceremony was over, somebody made their plates. They took them and fed them before they even came out to greet everyone.
Like a private dinner, which is what
Private
we
dinner.
recommend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great idea.
Yeah.
Someone should make sure that the parents someone should fix your plate, bring it to you and say, sit down and eat. Take 10 minutes, and maybe even somewhere aside
Private.
Yeah.
where you're not, while everybody else is getting their plates. And that's when I was free and able to talk to people, but they were all in line to fix
Food.
their plates. And then somebody should fix the plates for the parents and say, sit down and eat. Go over here or over there, wherever.
Yeah.
But kind of out of the flow for a minute. Take 10 minutes, 15 minutes and eat.
That's why we love the private dinner for the couples, is because I feel like guests will come up and talk to them, and then you
Yes.
can't eat.
And they don't eat.
And they don't eat, and then
They
we'll
don't
see
eat.
couples that don't eat, and then they're trying to like stuff their face during speeches, or
It's
like
so
they've had
awkward.
too much to drink,
Yeah,
and they
that's
don't
a
have any
big one.
food
That's a
because
big
they didn't
one.
eat.
That could be.
And
yeah.
honestly, until you said that, I hadn't even thought like parents are the
Parents.
same thing, because everyone's coming up to congratulate you,
Yes.
too. Like you don't.
Yes.
I haven't thought that is good though.
There's
It's
so
like
many people you want to see and talk to.
Yes.
hurry up, get in the office, shove some food down, so you can at least say you had the meal that you paid for.
Right.
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 Literally. And get your drinks you
That
paid
mac
for.
and cheese your dad wanted.
Yeah,
I don't even know if he
think
got
Dad
any.
mac and cheese is fine. Sorry, Dad.
So yeah, no, that is all like things that you don't think ahead of time,
Yeah,
and that's yeah.
That, I need to tell Jessica that hey, add this to your list. Go take those parents aside and sit them down and
I
feed
agree.
them. Yeah.
Because I almost feel like it's almost crazier on the day for the parents than it even is the bride and groom. Because a lot of the times I feel like at that point y'all are so done. You're like, I'm just gonna get my hair and makeup done, and I'm just here and I'm waiting for somebody to tell me what to do. Moms are like, did this get done? Did this get done? Did this get done?
Yeah, like
And
running
they're
around worse.
They're like a
crazy.
sweaty, flustered mess.
Mess. You're trying to make sure the mom's dressed by the time you're getting the bride into the dress. So I almost feel like Parents' Day is more chaotic even.
Yeah,
So
because
we for sure need to make sure they're fed.
we're just chilling half the time.
Right. Right.
Which did you feel flustered or anything on the day of, or no, because you had
Jessica
planned
took
her?
care of it all.
It was, it could not have went any better.
If
Yeah.
anything went wrong, I have no idea.
Which
if
is how it
did.
should be.
Like, I mean, and I'm sure something went wrong, but fully unaware.
No, honestly, I don't think anything went wrong today, because I was
The only
behind the
thing
scenes.
I
and-
mean, No.
yeah. Behind the scenes, I don't know.
I know the only thing I know that and you've just forgotten, the wedding cake topper wouldn't go on the cake.
Oh well, because
I think then that kind of got vetoed after. I think it was
it vetoed and I just ordered it, but it
Yeah.
didn't really match because the pink was off.
Well,
and
it just
I didn't
was
care
like,
anyways.
where'd the wedding cake topper go? And it was just
No,
like,
we
it won't go
exited
in
it.
there, it won't fit anyway. It's just like,
Well, 'cause
throw
it
it
was
aside,
fake.
move on.
Yeah.
Just don't. Nobody knows. No one knows.
No.
That's what I tell people all the time. I'm
Nobody
like,
knows.
Yeah, nobody knows.
when brides are so stressed out, I'm like, listen, if you didn't get the napkins that you wanted, your guest will never know.
No,
like,
nobody's gonna know.
Don't stress about that little things.
And we did have one little snafu, and it was just we were supposed to have 2 flower girls, and
Well, nobody knows that either.
right, but nobody knew.
Yeah.
There was no reason
Besides
to
my
stress.
sister-in-law, pretty much. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was no reason to stress about. I mean, there was no reason. She was really upset. I said, nobody knows. So
No.
Right.
Yeah.
I would say
Nobody knows.
that was
Also,
the first for me
well,
hearing
the
it.
groom's cake forgot to get cut. Somebody finally cut that.
We did forget to cut the groom's cake until way at the end of the night.
So
Sometimes
It
though,
just-
that's like it's pushed in a corner.
It was
And
pushed
you
in
forget
the
about
corner.
it.
It
Yeah.
was.
Sometimes doesn't even ever get touched.
no.
It was very
Bleh.
pushed in the corner. That's one piece of advice honestly.
It's a good late night snack
I
though.
probably
Yeah.
skip that whole thing because it just
Or
it
have
was
like a treat table.
Yes.
Yeah, better idea.
Grab.
Better
like
idea.
candy
Yeah.
or
Yes.
like
I'm
cookies.
kinda
Why do we do a
Steak.
groom's cake?
I think it's
That
just.
We
people
should
just-
Google sometime.
I mean,
I
it,
think
it
it's just
did.
for them to have
you're
their
s-
own
You're so
little-
right.
But that wedding cake is for both of y'all.
I don't know. I think
It
it's
was-
to show the groom off. Maybe
It
I'm
was
not
pushed
sure.
in the corner, and finally, a family friend was like, "Hey, I'm
Like, I'm
gonna
cutting
go cut
this.
this cake. You know this cake hadn't been touched." And I was like,
And groom's
No.
cakes aren't cheap because a lot of times it's like
No.
cute, like
"Oh, it was cute.
like it's
Yeah, yeah.
elaborate,
Gaudy,
so
It
it's
was.
like,
It was golf and it
Fondant
was-
galore half the time.
Oh yeah.
well, I'm like, but it's not like $100 cake.
No.
You know, like it's expensive too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, and so anyway, and so I went back to the kitchen, and to get a knife for Judy. Shout out to Judy Crowder because she was like,
She did cut it.
we
yeah.
need to do something with this cake. And I went back there to get a knife from the caterers, and she said, "What?" And I said, "The groom's cake hasn't been served." And she said, "I didn't know there was a groom's cake.
Yeah,
We
I
would
don't
have
think
done
they knew
that."
either. It's
Yeah, they
fine.
didn't.
Yeah.
They had no idea.
Oh well.
As far, or go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, so obviously Jessica made your day go so smoothly. And I know you planned a lot of your vendors, but like, did you just like have the best day ever? Did you have any disappointments or you're like,
I didn't have any disappointments.
That's great.
Yeah, because really I didn't know. She suggested like Coco's because I didn't know anything about Shannon. Because I was like, oh, I want like this person, like they're very
caterer,
popular.
yeah.
And then when we got the price quote, I was like, absolutely
Yeah,
not.
I was like,
No.
I said,
So-
I told, and they both had their eye on someone else, and she and Austin both were like, "This is who we want," and we
Yeah,
got
no.
the quote, and I said, "I'm not saying no, but I'm saying you're gonna have to cut
Something
somewhere
way somewhere else,
Yeah.
and I think we can do better, y'all."
Yeah.
I said we need to look around. We need to explore our options, and
Yeah.
I mean really explore your options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So always explore. If you
Because-
don't hire a planner, explore your options.
which is hard too for couples. Like, I feel like you almost, like you said, you already went ahead and booked everything. And I feel like there's a very like fine line of vendors are like, hurry up and book me. I'm booking up. And so you get stressed and you
Yeah,
put a
you wanna
deposit
pull the
down and then
trigger.
you're,
You regret.
Yeah.
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 Did you always know what you wanted for your menu?
Austin like wanted like specific things, but no, because we kind of like explored like a taco bar maybe.
Okay.
We were all over the map with
We
the
were
food.
kind of all over the map with the food, but
you did know from day one, they both said we do not want a
we
formal
just we
sit-down
didn't want a
dinner."
formal dinner.
So
at
that
all.
made that part a
So that was
little
easy.
easier.
We wanted like grab and go like finger like chicken strips. Like we wanted like easy.
Hey guys, just wanted to take a brief pause in the episode to tell you thank you for supporting our podcast. It would mean the world to us if you could subscribe to whatever platform you are listening on. Let's get back to the episode. Speaking of your reception, like your food, all the choices like that, did you have anything at your reception you would have changed?
Yes, I would have done a seating chart.
Like, so when people come up to pick their seats and tables and
Yep, and that's the one thing that I was so against at first. And Jessica was like, "No, we need to do a seating chart. Like, please let me do it. Like, I'll do it. Like, just tell me like who to put, like where, like who shouldn't sit together." And I was like, "Absolutely not. Like, that is too complicated." And because we had a couple people that were like lollygagging around and like would not send their RSVPs that they like had to hound at the end, and I was like, "See, this is why I didn't want to do it, and I wish we would have done it." That is the one thing that I wish.
Did you notice that people just like sat where they shouldn't sit, or?
Yeah, like we had 2 reserve signs, and like mom and dad like were, and like my brother, and like they were. Did y'all even sit together? Like Chuck?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I was gonna say it. I
Yes.
don't know. Like they were close, like to where they should have been sitting, but like my aunt, uncle, like they were like crammed at that table also. But like my in-laws like weren't with them, and they
They never sat down.
didn't
They
sit,
never
but
sat
like
down.
they
Yeah.
should have had
But
a
like
seat.
the grandparents,
Yeah,
were
like the
here
grandparents were
and here
scattered,
and
like-
way over here,
and like
yeah.
my like Austin's aunt and uncle, like they were like off over here,
Yeah.
and his other aunt and uncle, which they have like little kids, like because they were in charge of like their grandkids, like they were like upstairs because couldn't find them anywhere, and I'm like, okay, but like all these people should have been like close range, like
Well, and then you
tables.
knew, oh, they're at this table, I can go to this
Yes,
table.
like I would
like
have
the out of town
known-
family from
Yeah.
my side should have been
Like,
seated together.
Yeah, like
Right.
they
with
should have
my
been
mom or-
closer, like where I could find like our
Yeah.
family members, even the distant ones. Like I just couldn't find anybody, and it was hard. I could like see people, but it was also chaos, and I was just like, I don't
It
know where
is
anybody
chaos.
is.
Well, with so many people.
It was a
So
lot of
it's
people.
Like,
It was a lot
how
of
do you
people.
navigate?
And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, like I saw them and I was on the dance floor a lot, but it's like I also don't know. Like I waved at people, and like some people told me bye because they weren't staying, but it's like I have no idea where half these people were. So it's like I wish.
And like you think, oh, your reception is long, but it's really like in the grand scheme of
no,
things,
it's
it's not
short.
long.
So
It was
fast.
so fast.
Yeah.
It's like
so fast.
it's like, oh, it's time to leave. Like we're doing our last dance, and toodaloo, like we were out the door, and I'm like,
It
Like,
was
what
so
happened
huh?
today?
It was
I'm
a
like, I
blur.
blinked and we
it
were
was
done.
a blur.
Uh-huh.
Even
Yes.
for me, I was like,
Yeah,
was
I
a
mean,
blur.
also was like, I'm tired. Like, I'm ready to go. I'm like, ready to go. I'm like, we just got here. I'm like, what do you mean? And I'm like,
Right.
oh, where did all these people go? And like, they didn't want to leave either. And I'm like, like,
So I loved your live painter. Did you enjoy that too?
oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, I think that's worth it.
She was
Oh,
great.
yeah.
Like, so great. And people were like, I didn't even realize like what she was doing. Like, they were like, but then I went up there and like sat by her, and then she came down, and they're like, how did she just finish that? I'm like, oh, I know, she was fabulous. Like,
Yeah, she
Yeah,
was really
I do.
She's
I
great.
love live painters.
Yes.
Oh, me too. I feel like it's such a good investment because then that's
Oh,
something
she
you
was
get to
worth
keep
every
for the rest
penny.
of your life, you know?
every penny.
I always reference it as, you know, back in the day, like the Kings had their self-portrait
Oh,
painted.
right.
They
Yes.
hung it above the fireplace. It's like the modern day equivalent.
Yes.
There you go.
See it.
Yes, and she also like because you could have the option of like your ceremony or your reception, and we did the reception, and I'm glad because it was like all our colors were more in the reception. And
Right.
it looks so good.
And I feel like most people do the ceremony. So
Yes.
it's cool to hear that you did the reception.
Yes, because I feel like in the chapel it would have just been more white and like a couple pops of pink,
color, yeah.
and so like I don't know. I'm glad I definitely went with the reception. Yeah, and she was great. She was so good. So that is a splurge. I recommend
That
for
was a
people.
splurge.
Yeah.
It was a splurge, but it really wasn't bad.
No.
And I could have done like she had a couple different size options, but if
When you
people
think
wanna
about
splurge,
just in general, like how much art is, it's
Yeah.
not that.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
really
different.
in the big scheme of things.
yeah, and she finished it right then and there, and then I took it home. I mean,
That's really cool.
Yeah.
'Cause I know a lot of them that don't do that. Like
Yeah.
they have to like
finish it at home.
Yes.
Yeah.
and then send off. So that's really cool.
No, she was done like before it was even over, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I know that you're close with your husband's mom. And so like she was included in, you know, kind of your day, your planning, things like that. But do you have any advice for brides that maybe aren't as close with the groom's mom? Like how can they help include to where they feel part of the
Included,
day
yeah.
too?
I mean, I took my mother-in-law to like almost everything that we could. Like she went to touring the venue. I mean, because this is funny, but I booked Legacy and I'd honestly never even been to a
We've
wedding
never
there.
been there.
Oh well. So we finally went and
We
toured
went to
it.
the tour.
And so we took her.
She came, and I guess
She came to like She came to like one meeting.
she came to when we tried on wedding gowns.
Yeah. I mean, I
She
took her
came
to try on wedding dresses. So I mean,
I don't know if
even-
most people do that or
No.
not, but
Yeah,
we
I mean, I don't
definitely
know.
she was definitely
Yeah.
included.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
definitely went with that.
We wouldn't have done it without her.
Yeah, no, I mean, I wanted her there. And I mean, if people aren't even like close with their future mother-in-law, I mean, maybe just try to take them
to do something.
something.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
even if it's like going to like a planner meeting, or if you're going to any meeting like with food
Cake
or
tasting.
cake
Yeah.
tasting. I mean, if you want to take
Take
them
the
or
catering.
food, like florals, like look at your venue, like just take them to something. And I mean, make sure you just include them. Like she got there, like my mom was saying, I didn't realize like she beat her.
She
on the
beat
wedding
me.
day.
She beat me there
She
wedding
beat
day.
my own mom like on wedding day. 'Cause she was so excited.
Yeah.
She wanted to be there with all the girls.
She beat me there.
And start getting ready. So, and I mean, I didn't want anybody to like force them to get their hair and makeup done. And she was kind of on the fence about it. And I was going to pay for her because she's just like, was iffy about like getting her hair and makeup just because she doesn't do tons of that stuff. I mean, but she was like, no, like I'm going to do it. I mean, like something like that. Like,
And then she enjoyed it. She
Oh,
enjoyed
she
the process.
enjoyed it.
The whole day was just,
yeah,
you know.
I mean, just like,
it was just a fun day.
Yeah,
it was
fun
a
day,
fun
like-
day. It was
like-
a no stress day.
yeah,
It was just
like
fun.
a girl's girl. Like, I don't know, like take her to get her toes and nails done, like before the wedding.
Well,
Like,
I feel a lot of times it can be more like mother of the bride and the bride, like,
Yeah. Like
not in
more
cahoots, but
close-knit.
close, which is natural. But then
Yeah.
also, like, she doesn't have any girls, so she's not going to get to experience that. And, like, I only have boys as of right now.
Yeah.
So, like, that is something nice if you include them.
Yeah.
Now, if they're, like, rude, then,
Or y'all have it out.
hit the road.
yeah, I
but
mean, if you don't have a good relationship, I mean, that's hard. But like, we're close. I mean, I wanted her
Yeah.
to like come to whatever she could and like make sure she knew what was going on. And
Yeah.
I mean, and she did. I mean, she was there like every step of the way that she could be. So,
yeah.
you know, just include them if you want to.
So, speaking of dresses, where did you go dress shopping?
I only went to Inverness in Conway. They're wonderful. Cannot tell people to go there. Like, I tell everybody to go there. They like catered to me. Like booked an appointment, got one. I think we went in like November.
I think so.
Like we got engaged in July, like went November. I tried on like maybe 6 dresses, maybe. I don't even know. Not very many.
Not what I was expecting. I was like,
Yeah.
this is gonna be a whole day.
No, I think Mom was like, oh, like this is gonna be bad, and I think everybody I took with me was like, oh my gosh, she's about to be the most indecisive person. Like I think they were like,
we were ready to camp out and be
no,
there
I think
all
they were just
day.
like this, like, ooh, like kill me, I do not want to be here. But no, actually, and I like tried on a few, and I was like, no. And I had a vision in my head, and I was like, well, I'm probably not going to find this. Because Inverness, I don't know if they still do this or not, but you send them, like, pictures, and they'll basically be like a quiz, I think. And they're like, well, do you like this or this or this? And, like, yes, no. Like, what are your, like, I don't know, like, what's your body type? Like, they sent me, like, a whole, like, pre-face, like, quiz thing. That was really nice.
Yeah.
And they'll have them all pulled for you. Like, you don't, like, roam around in there.
We're just standing there.
No,
Yeah.
you're not.
Thousands of dresses.
You're not lollygagging. So they like pulled like, I don't know, like 10 dresses maybe, and then I just like tried them on, and if I hated it, they were like, okay, no. So like ditched it and then tried on the next, and then I cried when I tried mine on, and I was like, okay, I'm done. Like I tapped out. So
I thought yours was fun because you had the sleeves.
they put the sleeves on me. They were like, I think it needs sleeves. Because what I sent them, I think mine did have sleeves, like what I wanted in my head. And then I put the sleeves on, they added the belt. And I was like, okay, I'm out. Like, this is my dress. So then we were done. And I was like, okay, let's go home.
Did you take bridals?
I did.
You did? Okay.
Yes. I went to Edgemont House. I don't know. I like came across Edgemont House somehow. I don't even know. I don't remember how, but I was like, I want to go there and take bridals. Like I am not like going to the what? Well, I'm blanking on the word. The Capitol. Thank you. I was like, what is that place?
That one?
That one with the gold doors. I was like, I don't want to go there.
She was like, no.
And I was like, I don't really want to go there. That's not my vibe. I was like, I want
I'd never even heard of it, and then when we got there, I was like,
Isn't it crazy?
It's crazy.
Did you tour the whole place?
Yes, we like went around.
I was just like looking at everything, and I was like,
yeah,
it's a museum.
no, it is. I mean,
Like someone lives there. That's crazy.
Yes.
It's just the
it's like immaculate, and I was like,
beautiful. All the flowers outside, the yard, the landscaping is just
the library. I mean, like when I went in there, I was like, I would just take pictures in here, like the couch, the books. I was like, huh?
Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
It was wild.
I just wanted the yard like
Yeah, Mom was like, "Can I live out here?" I mean,
I'll stay in the guest house.
yeah.
right. Exactly.
Yeah, and they were so nice. I mean, we even went.
They were so nice.
I think we had an hour.
I don't know, but
we went over
way
our
over.
time, and the little lady that's in charge, she was so nice. She was like, "It's fine. Like, just we won't charge all extra. Like, just
that is
it's
nice.
fine." And we were like, "Okay, thank God." And it was so hot. Like I was sweating, and I mean, I don't know why it was so hot that day, but it was. And she was like, "No, you're fine. Like, just keep going." And we were like, "Thank you." But
it was beautiful.
yeah.
So that's where you got your dress. Where did you get your dress?
So we started looking, and believe it or not, so I wound up with 2 dresses. We went to.
You went to Dillard's first, I think.
Yeah, nothing. Couldn't find a thing.
It was October. Thinking about like October was like a weird.
It was,
Trying to find
Is it
going to
be hot or cold?
Frame. Yeah.
You
don't know.
Right, and so I didn't find anything at Dillard's. Started looking online.
Which online's hard too.
We went over for one of our floral meetings one day, and I said, and Tracy was with us, and I said, let's just go to David's. Let's just go. I don't even know what they have.
Mm-hmm.
And we went in there, and Ashley starts flipping through the racks, and she's, Ashley's very, no. And she pulled out this gold dress, and she said, try this on. And I was like, that's kind of cute. And it actually wound up being the dress. And
That one fit, I think,
it
too.
fit,
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
It did fit, and it had
I think it had a tear or
a
something.
big flaw in the fabric in the back. And I was like, oh. And she said, no, it's okay. We can order you one.
Yeah.
And it wasn't going to be there till September, and the wedding was October. And I was like,
I was pushing it a little.
ooh, this is making me a little nervous. So we ordered it, and I continued to look online, and I ordered, oh gosh, where'd that dress come from?
Saks, maybe?
No.
No?
From the designer.
Oh, I don't
I
remember.
can't even remember what brand it is now.
Because you changed at the reception.
I changed
Yeah.
it. So we ordered this designer gown. We went from gold to hot pink.
Oh, fun.
And I
Well, she
went,
matched.
and the hot pink gown came in, and I was like, oh, I love it, but I'm not sure how it's going to look in the pictures.
Well, and it was kind of like more like a little
It was more
flowy
fun.
too, so you could kind of like be on the dance floor
It
and
was. So in the end of the day, the gold dress did come in, and so that worked. And then I wound up wearing the gold to the ceremony, and it looked fabulous, and all the pictures went right along with everybody.
Yeah.
And then I changed into the hot pink dress
Oh,
with the
I
big
love it.
huge bow and the rhinestones, and it was me. It was very
I
me.
love.
where did you
So-
find yours?
Oh, gosh.
Because you had I remember a little bit
I know.
shaky
I
one.
went to Buffy's and it was on a whim because I was like, do I want to change? And I struggled. There was one online I wanted and it was so expensive. And I was like, okay, fine.
And the budget was gone.
The budget was just shot at this point, and then I went to Buffy's, and this one I bought wasn't bad, and I loved the like
It
frilly,
was on sale.
and it was on sale, and it was like sequins. It was very me, and I was like, "Is this prom? Is it not?" 'Cause
No, it was so
Buffy's.
cute.
I mean, it was cute, and it was like the frilly, fringy, and I was like, "This is cute," and I was like, "Well." I don't know, like, and I look back and I see other people's like exit dresses, and I'm like, oh, that one's so much better than what I picked out. And
I
I'm
loved
like,
yours.
I don't know. I mean, mine's cute, especially in like your little video.
video where you
blips,
did the
like,
little
and
shake, yeah.
Shimmies. I'm like, oh, that's cute. But nope, y'all didn't tell me I had socks on with my shoes.
I guess I did. I don't
They
ever
were
get
rubbing-
feet.
I know my feet were rubbing, but I look goofy because I'm like, oh, in these nice formal pictures, I got these ghetto socks
Because you
on.
didn't bring any socks and they were rubbing blisters.
I know.
You had to wear my socks.
But I
we
wore my
literally took
mom's.
my socks off of my
They weren't
feet.
no shows though, and
Then
I'm
I
like,
showed up in that.
Well,
one.
then that just means you're on a millennial. Like we've gone through this whole thing of
I
like
know.
the millennials.
oh, but they're not tall though. You know, you're supposed to wear tall
socks, I
But
know.
these are like literally
Halfway.
Bombas
Oh,
socks, and I'm
yeah.
like,
They're my running.
Yeah.
That I wear.
I got
with
the
my
pictures
running
back, and I was
shoes.
like, no one told me I had socks on, and these cute little glitzy Betsy Johnson shoes, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, well, at least my feet didn't hurt. So
Exactly.
right.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm like, seriously.
Are you glad now that you have the reception dress? Are you like, I am so happy I wasn't in a big dress all
Oh,
night?
I'm glad I changed because
Oh,
I
I
feel
knew,
like
yeah.
my dress would have been
It would have
disgusting.
been. It would have been.
And I
really
feel
hard
like-
to navigate.
Like
around.
I would have been just like, I mean, it was bustled, but I feel like it just would have no.
Yeah.
Because like my friend, when she just got married, her dress at the end of the night, she didn't
Bad.
change, and it was so dirty, and I was like, like no. And I mean, I know you can clean them, but,
But
I'm
still,
like,
yeah.
like,
Mine's still in the bag.
like I'm like, do you? I mean, yeah, I need to get mine preserved. I like still haven't done that either, but I'm like, I feel like it's less cleaning, and like, does that dirt
No,
really
I
come
agree.
out? Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't
think
know.
most people are not super comfortable in their dress.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you would.
I'm like, I did bridals maybe a month ago, and like she realized, she's like, there's no way I can wear this all day. Thank goodness we did bridals, because now she knows she has to find a reception dress. You
Yeah.
know?
Oh, I think I wouldn't have been. I think I would have been probably.
I think when we did
Hot.
bridals is when I was
Realized.
like, you really need to get a reception.
Oh yeah, because when I did bridals, I had to get it tightened again because I was sinking down because I'm a busty gal, and I was
The
sinking.
more she moved around,
The more I moved, I
I
was
knew she wasn't gonna be
sliding,
comfortable in it,
and
all
I was
night. There was
not
no way.
comfortable.
When
and-
you're always having to worry about pulling
yeah,
up.
and I
And
really wasn't pulling up. It was just like I was the band right here. It was like
Yeah.
I was falling, and I had to go get it pulled up more. Because I didn't have it altered at all. Zero alterations. Like I got it, it was fitted to me, but I was like, I have to get this tightened. So I like emergency got it tightened. Like
You take it out.
literally had to take it up, like take it in probably this much, and they tightened it, cinched it, and I was like, I cannot gain an inch of weight. Like cannot.
Not a centimeter.
Not a centimeter, but then I also had to tape right here, and I don't think anybody noticed, but that
Well,
was
so
tape.
I was going to say, like, I do feel like you can say all you want. Not that you haven't said you were a bridezilla, but that you were like anxious or stressed. You were like very calm because this
Very.
was literally, we're like zipping her in her dress, and she's like, "What am I gonna do about the
Yeah.
top area?" And like we just taped it,
Yeah.
and like you would
Shout
have
out to Haley, shout out
never
to you.
known it was taped. and it was like perfect.
No, I don't think anybody noticed. It kind of
No,
looked like I had
it looked like it was the dress.
I mean, it looked like
the
the
dress.
dress because y'all had it pretty even. So, I mean, you couldn't tell that was tape.
but that could have sent some
Oh,
some
it
brides
could've.
sideways.
Yeah.
Over the edge.
Oh, I know,
Yeah.
very over the edge. But
Yeah,
I
she
had
was
to.
very calm all day.
I mean, because I needed to stay sturdy, and I mean, it was sliding still a little, but I didn't want to sink and I didn't want to look crazy. And I was up there; they were up to the sky, and I almost wish I would have had straps on a dress, but then again, I'm like, no, because I wanted the sleeves.
Right,
and
the
that
sleeves.
would have looked
Yeah,
weird.
Sleeves look so good.
They would
Yeah.
have looked
Yeah.
weird, and I'm like, I feel like
They don't
straps.
look
I would have been like,
Yeah.
near
All day.
all day. So I'm
Yeah.
like,
So we did talk about, you got married at Legacy. You had this really big reception. I think we mentioned like before we got on the recording how much you pulled for y'all to have outside like seating
Oh, yeah.
and things like that. And then Austin was kind of like, oh no, we don't need that.
oh yeah. My husband was like, we don't need these like outside couches and like the florals out there, and like that's dumb, and like the curtain that we did, like to give like
Drapery,
this,
yeah.
the drapery, like this outside hoopla, and like nobody's gonna go out there. Oh please, like we should
Everybody
honestly we
was
should have
out
put
there.
everything outside. Maybe the
Everything
dance
was
floor included, like ditch the inside, because I feel like we couldn't find anybody. They were all outside. People were sleeping on the couches. I don't know. I guess they had too much to drink. Like half the people were outside.
But that really was added on at the
I mean,
really
it was
way
added
at the
on.
end. I mean, when I just even it was way late.
It was later that we
and
were
I
like,
said,
we need a couple out
Yeah.
there.
We need some stuff outside. We need some seating outside.
And it's such a big space.
It
that
It is a
front
big
porch
space, and I
area.
just felt like we needed. I said,
Well,
Wait, I don't know how we're going to do this.
Like tables,
but
rugs,
we
like,
gotta
we
do
did it all.
this.
So many people neglect that space.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
They should not.
they should not.
Because
I agree.
let me tell you, it gets used.
Yes.
Well, and we have
Everybody.
talked about in previous podcasts, like know your guest,
Yeah.
Right.
know your
And
people,
that's what-
and like you knew, like, hey, we all hang out, like we're
Right.
chilling,
We
like
like to chill and
Yeah,
talk.
and I told Jessica, I said, we need. She said, well, what do you mean? And I said, we need seating outside.
Yeah. Oh,
We
they.
need-
It wasn't even
I
that
don't
they were like hot, like that. It was like the smokers' corner. Like
No.
they
No.
were literally just outside. just chilling.
Right. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's the music. Sometimes the music's too much for some people.
you just need a little break.
And,
Yeah.
they're trying to talk and they can't
Yeah,
hear,
they were like
you know?
standing,
Yeah.
talking,
Yeah,
just
I
sitting
think that
like
may
we
have been a lot
are.
of it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, they were just hanging out. So I'm
But
glad we
was-
did
and
it.
that it really got utilized.
It got
really
utilized.
did.
Like, those couches got
and
used.
it added. I mean, I think she already had the big floral arch and all.
Yeah.
was
Right.
already planned, and then I was like, we need seating
Something
out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And she's like, well, what do you mean? I said, okay, well, I know our people. They're going to be outside.
Oh, they're gonna be out there.
You know, Ashley's dad, number one, he's going to be
Yeah,
outside.
he's gonna be always the dad.
He's gonna be roaming the entire property. So
It was
Right.
funny because he's a doctor, so he like think of him as professional, but he's also a farmer. Well,
Yeah.
what would you call him? A rancher, farmer.
But yes,
Yeah,
farmer.
farmer dog.
And like
I don't know.
his second outfit was what? His trucker hat.
his-
At some
his-
point,
or
he
his
was
cowboy-
snuck
yeah.
off and changed into
Yeah.
his
green tractor.
jeans and a shirt.
His
and-
plaid,
yeah.
his flannel
Yeah.
plaid that we can't throw away because he'd kill us. It's the
Right.
same one he wears all the time in his gray T-shirt. I
But he
think
was comfortable, and he was like on the dance floor, just like
Oh, I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was vibing.
Yeah, exactly.
Ditch the suit. He cannot wear that.
But
No.
I'm like, let your people be themselves.
you've already
Yeah.
done the formal stuff.
Yeah,
You
we,
know?
yeah, we were way done. With
Oh,
all
He
yeah,
was
yeah.
changing. He was not staying in that outfit. He would die.
Yeah.
No. He wears that like once in a blue moon.
Right.
Like collects dust. I mean, seriously.
I also did love at your reception. You had like cowboy hats. You had things to like hand out. I feel like everyone enjoys.
And the hats were very last minute. Those were I almost like so last minute. I wasn't even sure they were going to be there in time from Amazon.
Yeah, Mom was like, we need hats. We need like something.
and I only bought them for her and the bridesmaids and Lee and I and Childers and I and then there was a fight over them.
No, people were like, we should have ordered more.
We should have
apparently.
ordered way more. But the light up glow sticks,
Yeah.
we had those.
Yeah.
We had the glow sticks, we had the light up foam sticks, you know, and I was like, we need hats. We need
Yeah.
fun. We need to make this as fun as we can.
We needed more hats.
And it was a lot of fun.
So
Yeah.
party favors are good.
They really are. Like, I wish we would do away with, like, the grab bag of cookies, like, when you're leaving out the door, and would focus more on, like fun,
glow
dance,
lights.
I
Yeah.
see so many.
stuff.
I've been to so many weddings where there's just piles of
cookies.
those cookies left,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, "Here, take 10," and you're like, "Okay,
Yeah.
we need these to go."
Yeah, or like, I don't know, dog treats, which I mean, I'll take those for the dog, but
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
All the
no,
other little things, like, a lot of times they get left behind.
They get
Yes.
left behind, sure.
but people want the glow
But they were fighting
items.
over those hats.
Yes.
Glow cowboy hats, that's what y'all need.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I feel like wrapping up this episode, we definitely like the theme is hire a planner if you can.
Yeah.
A good
A
planner.
A good planner, do your research.
Not just anybody.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
just, I don't know, Cindy Lou Who off the street, but
Right.
find a good
I mean,
planner.
I'm not gonna lie. I would have paid Jessica twice what she charged.
Yeah, she's
She
worth
was
every
worth it.
penny,
I mean,
literally.
she was so worth it. The day was perfect. I did not have one thing to worry about that day.
No,
Not
we don't.
Which is so
Except-
uncommon for the moms.
Yeah.
Getting
Yes.
myself there, getting myself dressed. My biggest decision the day of the wedding, I literally, don't laugh, I brought 3 pairs of shoes. 3 pairs, because I couldn't figure
I
out
don't
which
even
shoes
remember
I was wearing. And I went, and that's my number one advice to the moms. Wear comfortable shoes.
Yes.
It's going to be a long
Brides too.
day.
Mm-mm.
Like you said, comfortable shoes and snack. Make sure you're eating.
Make sure you're
Yeah.
eating.
Especially
Make
if
sure
you're
you're
going to
eating.
drink at your reception, like make
Eat.
sure you're
We
eating.
had a big charcuterie board.
The morning
The
of, yeah.
morning of
That,
the-
it got
That was
demolished.
the last minute decision too. We found this. She was really a startup, and I've been seeing a few posts from her. She was out of Cabot, and I was like, "We're gonna need food.
Yeah.
We're gonna need something for the guys to eat on, for the girls to eat on." And we put it out there in the middle, between both sides, and it was demolished. Yes,
Yeah.
it was eaten.
So you didn't have any wedding regrets, which is huge. I feel like most people do. Do you think Austin had any regrets or anything he's like, oh, we should have done?
He wanted to come on the podcast. He was like, let me on there. I feel like his input would have been way different than Mom and I's for sure. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like he probably would have done way smaller of a wedding. But I don't know. I mean, I know he had fun, so I don't know why he says that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a good
Everybody had a
time,
good
so I don't know why he's being a hater, but that's awesome. So, and I'm sure he'll be like, ugh, I do not feel that way, but yeah. I feel like smaller wedding for him, I don't know. I don't think that he would have eloped or done a destination. I feel like he's crazy.
He says that, but then he would
Yeah,
have.
he says that. I feel like he definitely wanted to get married in a church, and I did not. I wanted a venue, like, all the way, but he pushed. That was his one thing, is he wanted to get married in a church, and I was like, no.
But you still
from the
had a
get-go.
pastor, and
Yeah.
yours
Yes.
felt like a church.
Yes. I mean, it's not like we just hired a rando off the street, but, I mean, he wanted a
The
church.
venue was that's the way to go if you can.
Yeah.
If you can. I mean, if you can't, fine. But that being able to have it all right there and just move.
Yeah.
Being able to get ready right there, walk across the street.
Yeah.
To the chapel, just walk right over to the reception.
Yeah, venue's
Parking
nice.
was a piece of cake. The venue just the whole concept. Was
Yeah.
Well, and I think a lot of people don't realize too, whenever you're booking photo and video team, if you are traveling, if it's a 20-minute, 30-minute drive to a chapel,
coverage.
20-minute, 30-minute, that's taking time out of
taking
your
time out.
coverage.
Yeah.
Just taking time.
I
So,
know.
you know, just things to think of. All right. Any last minute tips that you would give brides or mothers?
No, I mean, just stay true to yourself, of course. Like, don't let people influence you.
Right.
Don't, like, look in a magazine and be like, well, I have to have this because this is trendy, like I said earlier. You know, don't, like, let your friends or your family influence you. Like, feel like you have to feel the pressure to do, you know, whatever.
And speak up if you don't like.
Yeah.
If the florist is going way off over here in the left field about something, or anybody,
Or anybody.
Yeah.
I
just
mean,
say, hold up. hold up.
Or if your planner sucks, I mean, mine did not, so I had no issues. But if she sucks, tell her she sucks. Get rid of her. I don't know. Or if somebody sucks that you hired, I mean.
Yeah, if you feel like you can't go through
Yeah.
Yeah.
or be happy.
Yeah, I mean, tell
Yes.
them that they're not doing what you paid them to do, or I don't know. I mean, I didn't have any issues, so that's kind of hard for me. But I mean,
We have friends that have had weddings and stuff.
yeah. So I mean, you're gonna have to poke the bear and push the buttons, and I don't know.
But you're paying them.
Yeah, but you
Right.
paid them, and it's your day, and you're supposed to. It's
It
supposed
needs
to
to
go
be your day.
smooth.
Exactly.
So yeah, I don't know, but
I think that's about
That's
covers
it.
it. Yeah, thank you guys so
We
much for coming
appreciate
on.
it so
oh,
much.
Yeah.
we
It
was
appreciate
fun.
y'all.
Yeah,
it was
Yeah,
fun.
that was
Yeah.
fun. Yeah,
I think everybody needs to like have a real life perspective of what
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like, you know?
yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
So we've talked to someone that has had an amazing planner. Now we need to have someone who has had like no planner.
yeah,
and
no
hear about
planner,
their
No
day.
planner or
Yeah.
a terrible planner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or somebody that I don't know, have somebody that did get married that she said that she would have just eloped, so maybe
Yeah.
you could ping her.
Yeah.
So
It's
I don't know.
always hit or miss, but yeah, I feel like your day was great.
yeah,
Like
was
there was no stress.
There
Yeah.
was,
It was great. Yeah,
Like
I would
The
do it
power-
again.
The power of
Maybe
a
not,
plan.
but mom and dad probably know, but oh,
Yeah.
So
Okay, well,
yeah,
till
That's
next
it.
time.
woohoo! Till next time.
Yeah.
Next time.
Bye.
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 As we finish this episode, we want to say a big thank you to all of the support on our podcast. You can find us at Black Tie Opt Podcast. We are on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Thank you so much for supporting our podcast.